Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back from holiday break, and welcome to HSA 1102 Introduction to Healthcare. All right, so each week I will do a review of what's going to be due for the week and what is expected of that assignment or discussion. So with that, I want to go ahead and get into that. So I'm going to click into the classroom and then go to week 1. So by now you should have taken your pretest, do your certification, as well as your, I'm having a blank, sorry. You should be doing your pretest, your certification, and your introduction. And your introduction can be found in the discussion section, on the discussion board, under introduction. And you can see that most of you have already done that, or some of you have. So just basically introduce yourself. Tell us why you enrolled in either medical billing and coding or medical assisting, and where you're from, what some of your interests are. Just introduce yourself to your fellow students as well as myself, and interact with each other, replying to each other's introduction posts. Okay, so for week 1, alright, you should have already ordered your textbook. If you haven't, please do so. The Kaiser University bookstore has them in stock to either rent or purchase, and your ISBN is right here under Getting Started. If you're ordering it from someplace else, such as Amazon, Chegg, or whatever, you'll need the ISBN to order your textbook. Okay. Alright, so with that said, you will need your textbook to pass this course. Alright, so for your week 1 discussion, so here's how the week 1 discussion works. You need to reply with 4 separate posts on 3 separate days, and that will earn you a grade of good. If you want a grade of excellent, you have to go above and beyond that. Everybody thinks because they met the requirement they get an A. That an A is actually going above and beyond. So what I require for that is 5 or more separate posts on 3 separate days to grade a grade of excellence, to get full points. Alright, so your first post should be submitted by Thursday so that you can make the 3 separate days, and your second post should be anytime in between Thursday and Sunday. All work is due on Sunday for those of you who are new, and the first response they ask, Chapter 1 discusses thinking like a professional. In your own words, what does it mean to think like a healthcare professional? List several examples. Think of a time when you encountered someone or something unprofessional in the healthcare arena. And if you don't have any examples from that, you can use any other example, but I would prefer it be from the healthcare arena since that's what we are studying. While maintaining privacy, feel free to share this experience with the class. So, in Chapter 1, there's a paragraph titled Thinking Like a Healthcare Professional. If you find that, you'll see some of the examples of how to think like a healthcare professional. Not act like a healthcare professional, not actions that a professional would do, but how to think like a healthcare professional, because you have to get into that mode of thinking about what you're doing with your patient and why you're doing it. Response 2 is review table 2-1, pages 39 through 45, the history of healthcare. After reviewing the historical events of healthcare, you need to identify 3 events that you feel were most significant to healthcare in today's society, and then at least 1 event that you feel is most beneficial to the patient, not healthcare, but to the patient themselves. And then what are some of the healthcare trends and challenges that we face for the future? And those are also included within your chapter. Okay. So as long as you have the required number of posts, you'll earn a grade of good. If you go above and beyond that, you can earn a grade of excellent. All right, we also have a written assignment for week 1. The research portion is conducted in week 1. You have to submit that paper to the OWL, and I will show you how to find the OWL and upload your paper to the OWL after I finish this. Okay, so basically what you're going to do is you're going to have a problem solving and decision making paper that you're going to write based on the problem solving model that's listed within chapter 2. You have to get started on this assignment as soon as possible and doing the research you need for your problem because you have to show communication with the OWL that you submitted it. And basically what's going to happen is you're going to upload that paper to the OWL, which is the online writing lab. They'll read it, they'll make recommendations to make it better, and send it back to you. When you get that email back, it'll have the submission form that you submitted as well as your paper with their recommendations. Forward that to my email so that I know that you have communicated with the OWL and that you received their recommendations back. And then what you'll need to do from there is take those recommendations and incorporate them into your final draft, which is due in week 2, at the end of week 2. So, problem solving and decision making are important in the healthcare arena, so as well as in your daily life. The 5-step problem solving process can be found in your text on pages 32 and 34. The 5 steps are: identify the problem, gather information on that problem, create alternatives, choose an alternative and take action, and evaluate and revise as needed. So, if you think about it, if somebody's diagnosed with cancer, you've identified the problem, they have cancer. So you want to gather all information that you can about that type of cancer to see what treatment options are available, how aggressive the cancer can be. You just want to gather as much information as you can about that cancer. Then you're going to create alternatives. Say if it was, God forbid, you that was diagnosed, you want to create alternatives for yourself to choose from. You're going to choose 1 or 2. You could even do a hybrid of 2 alternatives or 3 alternatives that might work for you, and explain why. And then take action. Then in your final step, you want to evaluate how your alternative that you've chosen is going to work. So for instance, if you're a salesperson and you set your goals to one of your choice of alternatives was to increase your sales rate by 80%. Well, you have to establish a base rate, and then you're going to evaluate that over a time frame. So say 3 months. You're going to look in 3 months and see if your sales increased to 80%. If they did, great, your alternative is working. If not, how are you going to revise that alternative? Or are you going to select a totally different alternative? Was the goal appropriate? And then revise if needed. Alright, so you're going to do the research, you're going to write your rough draft, submit it to the OWL, which I will show you right now how to find the OWL. So if you go to up here in the upper right hand corner to home, you will see submitting your week 1 assignment to the OWL. That's in my announcements. But in my organizations, see, it's not in there. So I need to go to Kaiser Writes. And if you don't have it, you can do this as well. In organization search, go Kaiser Writes Online 20WA. You want to click on KUL 20WA. and then you want to click on Enroll. Submit. And then if I go back home, I should be able to go down to my organizations, and there it is, Kaiser Online Writing Lab 20WA. So if I click on that, there are instructions on how to upload your paper. So there's a start here, and then that'll tell you on how to do it, and then submitting the paper. You have to download the submission form, fill out the submission form with the information that it asks for. Be specific on what you need help with so they know what to help you with. Click on the OWL submission link above. Submit your paper along with the completed submission form. If you don't have both, they will not look at it after entering the submission area. Please wait until you receive the feedback. So you'll get a confirmation email saying that they've received it. But then when they've reviewed it, usually within 24 to 48 hours, they'll send it back. And that's when I need you to forward that to me so I know that you did communicate with the OWL and that they made recommendations. I will also look to make sure that you incorporated those recommendations in your final draft. All right. So you have your week 1 writing assignment, your discussion. You have a week 1 quiz. Once you go into this, you'll have 15 questions to answer, and you have 2 hours to complete it. Do not submit the test until you have completely finished. It's not possible to accidentally submit your test because it takes 2 steps to submit it. So if you come back to me and say, I accidentally submitted it, then I'm going to question that. In this class, we do offer extra credit. If you are able to attend the Kaiser Live sessions, which are on Tuesdays at 7 p.m., then you will receive extra credit as long as you're participating in the Kaiser Live session. If you cannot attend and you review the recorded version, you can write a paper, as it says here, a 100 to 200 word summary of the recording from that week. And I need specific examples of what I spoke about in that recording. And the details of the paper must range from the beginning of the class live to the session end, or you will not receive full credit for that. So 0.5 points per class, which doesn't sound like a lot, but over 4 weeks that it adds up to 2 points. If you're teetering on a B or an A, if you're right there on the edge of an A or a B and you're at a B, that 2 points can put you over. If you're at an 88, now it puts you up to a 90, and now you have an A. So and so on down the line. So it doesn't hurt to do the extra credit. And then that's it for week 1. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me via phone, via email, whatever it might be. All the information is listed in the syllabus, as well as meet your instructor. I look forward to getting to know all of you over the next 4 weeks. And again, let's have some fun with this class. And if you need anything, contact me. Thanks.